Jim Ring.
Yeah, we'll do it. Can we turn off the front light so people can see the screen? Okay. Well, my name's Jim Brain, and I'm here to show off a project that we've been working on for. I think it's really been in development in some respects since 1994. Some of you may have been using the Commodore online service called Quantum Link when it was up. Some of you may not have. The service was available starting in 1985, November 5th, and it operated until November 1st, 1994. It was a Commodore-only service. It ran out of Virginia on some servers, and then people would dial in through their 300 baud or 1200 baud modems. Commodore approached a company called Quantum Computer Services to set up the system, and Quantum Computer Services licensed an online service from a company called Playnet. And so some of this is background for those who've used the service. The main thing is right after Commodore discontinued or declared bankruptcy, Quantum, who had already started up some other online services using the base Quantum Link code, decided to shut down the Quantum Link service. And there was a large number of people who were unhappy with that decision, predominantly because Quantum Link was a kind of a community system for Commodore owners. And it offered a graphics experience for users, whereas some of the other services like Delphi and Genie and CompuServe were strictly text-based. And so, since that time, initially there was a bunch of people that were trying to download all the files to make sure they were available. And then after that time, there's been some attempts over the years to bring the service back. Unfortunately, the disk, which I don't have one of the original ones, somebody can grab one from the desk back there, but some of the examples are back in the back. The example disk, the system used a proprietary disk and a proprietary protocol. And since nobody has access to the server source code, there's no way to understand necessarily how the software on this disk works against the software that runs on the server. And so there's a number of us who've attempted to re-implement the service. The man that had the best chance of doing it is an individual who unfortunately is not able to be here today. His name is Keith Hendrickson. And he took it upon himself to reverse engineer the base protocol that is on this disk. It's a very complex protocol. I can talk about it after we get the service up and running. But with this information, he actually reverse engineered the protocol in 2001. But since nobody really knew who all was working on this type of an endeavor, his information sat with him for the next 4 years. It so happened that he was able to find Jeff Ledger's website that discussed bringing back the Quantum Link service in 2005. And in 2005, I got a hold of that information and I used it to do the following. Whoops. Some of you may remember these screens, some of you may not. Looks like I'm getting a little feedback. Step forward. Instead of using the telephone lines like Quantum Link used initially, we switched gears a little bit. We're now going to use the internet as our communications vehicle. So this system right here is using a null modem cable with an RS-232 interface to connect to a PC, and that PC is connected through our internet connection to the server, which is now running in Texas. This is the introduction screen. This login is QAdmin Jim. Obviously, some attentions and thanks. We just moved the server this week. And then the illustrious or infamous homepage. All of the services, ouch.
Sorry. Trying to figure out how to use the lights there.
Okay.
Other direction.
Other direction, thank you. Any of these services are available. The one that's probably of most interest is People Connection. Obviously, we're running on a real vintage, actually it's a 71, but
Jim?
yes,
What's your username on here?
QAdmin Jim.
Okay.
And we have 10 users logged on right now, including myself. And we should see them showing up with their text in just a minute. There we go. Somebody's sending me an instant message. Actually, Ray's sending me an instant message from the back of the room. He's logged in as well. And it appears as though I have some mail. So I'm going to cancel on my instant message and I'm going to read my mail. Here's my mail. They're going to have a trivia game next Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central. You're all invited. They had their first one on Wednesday night in the trivia room, and they're going to have another one on Tuesday. So I need to make an announcement on that. And it appears I have some more mail. Whoops. Been getting a lot of messages like this lately. And some others, folks that are volunteering. I haven't been on for a couple days. There's Ray sending me a message at 5:30, what would that be, yesterday. It looks like I have a bunch of messages. So we're gonna move on from that.
Well, that was it. It looks like no more mail.
Oh, it is, okay. The system has currently 11 users logged into the lobby. QLink has a system of chat rooms. Each chat room can have up to 23 users. There can be both public chat rooms and private chat rooms. The public chat rooms will show up on this list. The private ones do not. And there's also a special room called the auditorium. The auditorium was used for when you'd have a speaker come in, you could have many users log into the auditorium, but those users could not chat, but they could ask questions. They could ask the speaker questions. Let me answer some of these folks here. Oh. We have added a few additional services to this to the system. We brought it somewhat into the 90s or the 21st century with borrowing some commands and so forth from the Internet Relay Chat set of chat systems. And so, oh, somebody wants to play me a game of Sea Strike. So, games are implemented. I've never played. Hey Jeff, are you okay? You're going to play me Sea. I've never played Sea Strike. Somebody's going to have to help me here. Does anybody know how to play Sea Strike? Well, I know, but you're already on one of the computers. Anybody else know how to play Sea Strike? I'd rather talk and have somebody else play. Hey Ray, where's Ray?
Ray knows how to play.
Ray, where's Ray? Oh, there you are.
I never. I haven't played this game.
Okay.
You'd be as good as me, I guess.
Yep, it is Battleship. This is Quantum Link's version of Battleship. Okay, Jeff, you're going to have to walk me through this.
Okay, hit F3.
F3. Okay, what do I do? Cursor keys? Oh, I see.
Spacebar rotates, cursor keys, enter key.
This is no fair. You can see my game.
Oh boy.
It's okay.
had no idea. Sorry. That's all right.
Yeah, isn't it amazing how it did that?
Self-repair. It's all the nanos.
Okay. Don't I have one more? There we go. We'll put it up there. I'm tired of moving. Okay. Whoops. Somebody's going to have to do the moves because if I turn around, it feeds back. Who wants to play the user that's going to tackle the keys? Anybody? Anyone? Leaf, you want to help me? If I turn around, the system feeds back. So.
Well, you just dictate. Tell me what to
I
press.
can't. If I get over there, it'll be really bad.
Okay, I have no idea how to play this.
Jeff, tell us what's next. Oh, he just missed. Okay, F3. F3. Okay, now. Oh.
Move your positional key, Jim.
Yep. Oh, there we go. F3.
You gotta hit F3 and move.
Okay, moving somewhere and choose. Hey, no fair.
Yeah. Look good.
That's S. It's right around the S key, and then you hit enter to choose your thing. So it's right around the S key is the directions. So A, B. Got it. So has anybody have any questions thus far? We're playing a game. We've got, I think all the games work except for Rabbit Jack Casino, which requires a server component, which we've not implemented yet. And then the two games that were accessed, they're not really games, but the two systems that were accessed through the People Chat solution, but are not really games, was Habitat, which was the LucasArts or Lucas Games virtual environment, and Club Carib. And so those have not yet been implemented. Those will take some time to implement. Are you shooting? Okay. There goes and it's a hit. All right. Nanner. Okay.
So how'd you get into this? How'd you start?
That's kind of funny. I never used QLink, so I don't have any idea. I don't have any really memories of how it worked. But I thought it was interesting that it had been so long since the system went down. And there wasn't any re-implementations of the solution. And so it struck me as somewhat of a challenge. And then when the information became available from Keith, it was simply a matter of trying to implement, and then his information wasn't complete, and so you end up kind of in a trial and error type phase where you keep trying different things and seeing if they work. We still get a couple commands that don't work, and so it's kind of a challenge to continue to figure that out. The other one is I knew that a lot of people really like Quantum Link, not just because it had it was an online service, but it ended up building a community. And so we're hopeful that with the service available and accessible for free, that at least some form of the community will start back up again.
So that message board you posted a message board first, and then Keith came on there and found out about it? Or?
Yeah, I tried reverse engineering the protocol in early 2004. There it is. But I was not successful in doing it. It's very complicated. The client disk is very complicated, and so I essentially put it on the back burner and worked on some other projects. But Keith found the message board in early 2005 and said, "Oh, by the way, I have some of this information that might be of interest." Of course, his information was of interest, and then there's been some other individuals that have helped greatly along the process. One's been Ray, who happened to save off an incoming set of communications from a real QLink server. So we saved that off.
It's outcoming too, wasn't it?
No, just
incoming.
just stuff coming into the client. So Ray saved that information, and we were able to extract a lot of commands from that trace. And then there was an individual named Keith Elkin, he was an operator on Q-Link back in the day, and a couple times he had taken his video VCR and he had hooked it up to his Commodore, and he had videotaped his sessions in Q-Link. And so he converted those to images, he converted those to files that I could read on the computer and transferred them to me, and I used those to reconstruct some portions of how the system works. So between the traces, the information that was online from various people who remember Q-Link, messages that people had saved, and the videotape, I was able to reconstruct what we have thus far. So how are we doing on the game? Oh, he's almost got you there, doesn't he? Oh, he's already got one. While you're playing the game, you can still continue to chat in the room. But it's kind of funny, if you're not in the game and you're watching the people chatting about the game in the room, it's kind of, you'll be creating a whole conversation, and then they're talking about hitting each other with ships and so forth. And so I think it's best if you go to play a game that you go to your own room and play the game and then come back to the lobby or whatever. Everyone say hi to SWRAP XO. Oh, somebody's on your machine over there. Probably ought to go and see some of the other information. Yep. Hey, Jeff, I'm going to move on.
You're programming it with Perl, right? The server?
Actually, no, the server is written in Java.
Oh, okay.
And game end, suspend game, quit game. Press return if yes. So we're going to go back to chat. I have the following for those who are interested in getting online. We have these. I'm going to go ahead and pass these around, and just pass the extra ones up front. There you go. So now some of these folks are from around the country. We have a number of folks that come on. What's really nice is Q-Link existed in Canada and the United States, but it did not exist in Australia or Europe. And so we have a number of users who are witnessing or are experiencing Q-Link for the first time from Australia. A lot of those come on late at night, right? Because I think they're like 8-9 hours difference from us, and so they come on late at night and they use the system late at night, and then there's normal computer that comes on during the day. Okay, so I'm going to go to the menu system. Here are the menus. Yeah, go ahead. Put it back in front. A lot of the information that we gleaned from the menu structures was extracted from the traces that Raymond gave us. And so a lot of the information you're going to see is information that was directly lifted from a 1990, like a May 15th, 1990 session that Ray had on Q-Link. All the menus were extracted from that session as well. So here it is. Now some of them don't have anything behind them. I'm trying to think.
Didn't you say one of them was the Amiga information or something like that?
Yep, there's a whole bunch of these. There it is. So this is information that we gleaned from the traces. So essentially, Q-Link has the following functions. It has a chat functionality, it has an information functionality, and then as we'll see here in just a minute, it has a file upload download functionality. And then I'm trying to think where would be on, wrong one. Of course, some of these aren't working because I don't have USA Today, obviously. Oh, okay. Where is that? Commodore Customer Service Center. That's right. We have forums as well. So there's a chat solution, and then there's also the forums. And then here's a list of latest messages. There's the first post from Raymond today. There's another trivia. There's trivia. Essentially the same as using Usenet or some of the other message forums, only it's on Q. And let's see. A few more. Posting works, reading works, and you can even search for messages. And you can also search for replies after a certain date.
There's the IP address. Someone was asking for it before.
Is it still on the same board, Jim?
Yes. And let's see. Oh, I was going to show one more thing. Whoops. Go to the software showcase. Right now we do not have the complete library up, but we do have one of the files. Notice what's in the top left-hand corner. I'm on plus time, because I didn't pay anything to start with, so. Let's see. I have one file up. Yeah, we have a sample file loaded. Some of you may have downloaded this file. We found it online. It's the myfirstdownload.prg. It has it's like a scrolling color bars on the side, and it's got like a little text that flows in one at a time that says, well, I guess you made it, and stuff like that. Typically, it was the first download that Q-Link had users do to test out to make sure all their system was able to download files. So I don't have another disk to download it, but you can download the file. You can download this file. We don't have comments and documentation on the file set up yet, but that's going to be implemented soon. Huh? Oh, really? It wouldn't fit on mine. And I'm not sure I want to ruin this bit. I don't know what I want to add to the disk. Let's see. What is the other thing? I'm trying to think what else there is that people might want to see. Anybody have anything that they're interested in seeing? Yes. Yes, they'll all be there. The key is probably under computing soft support groups. And there's all the different groups. Basically, just go down to wherever it is you went, and there's the message boards right there. So, go back to People Connection. You can send email, read email, send instant messages or online messages as they're called, and you can, obviously when instant messages come, they show up on your screen. I'm going to show sending an email to Raymond, Raymond's PC, or show an instant message anyway. Right here, send an online message. And here's my message. Welcome. Whoops. Can't type. And there's my message, and if you look back there, it should be showing up on Ray's machine back in the back. So that's the demo. We'll have machines set up in the back where you can play around with the system today. And if you have any questions, we'll be available. The server is operational, should be operational 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And the information is on that card that you've got. So there you go, Quantum Link, where the new thing is reloaded. I'm done. I'm gonna give you back this thing and you can move on to your next.
Hi again. Hi again, folks. Couple updates. We should hopefully be getting the lunch and pizzas. Hold on, there's a place already soon. If anybody wants pizza, those will be available over in the main hotel building, room 307. We might be able to have them go over here.
That's what I did.
Where did you get this one?
Right now, we
Where did you get
have
this?
I don't know, I've had it for a while.
I would like to mention that, although it's a bit late, I wanted to mention, we also have DVD discs of video from last year's 2004 Expo for sale. This was a limited run of 25 discs. There's about 2 hours of video footage, including all the demos that were done. We've also got some extras. We've got a little bit of video footage thanks to Randy Harris of Jerry Ellsworth's birthday. These will be offered for sale for $5 each. It includes a hand-labeled DVD-R disc that should be compatible with most consumer players, but it's not guaranteed. And also